Hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Had a little bit of trouble coming in today for Coffee with Val. I'm just three minutes over, and I apologize for that. Just wanted to make sure that you can hear me. Anybody out there, say I. I am going to be very, very mindful of time today because it is a beautiful, active morning. Jacqueline in the house. Thank you, my love, for being here. I appreciate you, Kelly. Thank you. Can you all hear me very well? Can you just tell me heads up, yes or no, so I can full on emerge today? As I was saying, it is a very active morning. These Coffee with Vals, I want to keep them at 15 minutes unless I have a guest. And thank you for that validation, Jacqueline. I want to somehow summarize the beginning, or at least some aha moments of this amazing conference, The Mystic Marriage Between Science and Spirituality, that I had the blessing to go to attend in Florida. 4-day event. Of course, I won't be able to summarize it all here, but I will come in and just tell you some, basic points to get you enticed and inspired to continue looking into the work of these incredible souls that are transforming humanity, in my opinion, which is the work of Dr. Bruce Lipton and Reverend Michael Beckwith. I cannot tell you what it is. What is the energy that you feel in the room to be with them? It's just unbelievable. I have been blessed to attend many conferences around the world of different people and different spiritual teachers and teachers, and I have never ever in my life have experienced anything like this before. So do go to their websites and see if they're coming anywhere near you, because it is a before and after experience. I've been following their work for years, but after these 4 days, I can tell you that life will never be the same. It does validate the work that we're already here doing, but with another degree of understanding and empowerment to be able to share this in all the different stages, coachings, and every opportunity that I have to speak up and just inspire people to be awakened. Thank you so much for everybody that is here. I'm going to go straight and just tell you like the first points that really shook me, and then do leave you. I'm going to focus a little bit more on Reverend Michael Beckwith's information, and actually leave you with 4 spiritual, there are 4 stages of spiritual growth as he mentioned them. But before I go into that, I want to tell you that, this work that they are both doing, connecting science and spirituality, and you hear both point of views, but at the end, they're exactly the same thing. They're expressing the same language. But of course, Dr. Bruce Lipton from the science and medical point of view, and Reverend Beckwith from all the spiritual side. But they really do have this marriage on stage where you see no difference between them, and just everything makes completely sense. Mahu, thank you for being here. My dear friend from Spain is in the house. So first of all, I want to, of course, recommend you Dr. Bruce Lipton's book, and this is his newest book. It's The Honeymoon Effect, and it's the science of creating heaven on earth. Can you even believe the title? So he based a lot of his teachings in the conference based on this, and of course, Reverend Michael Beckwith's book, Live Visioning, is also highly recommended, and the Biology of Beliefs from Dr. Bruce Lipton. So those are your key points of key books that I would highly recommend on the work on these amazing teachers. So one of the things that was completely mind-blowing from Dr. Bruce Lipton is, I guess depending on your age, when I went to school, we were taught more that 50% more or less was genetics, and 50% was your genes, 50% your genes, and 50% is what how you get ill or what happens into your life, depending on the life circumstances and your environment, right? But now science, not just said by him, but it's really there's documents and research done from the U.S. and all the federations of science and whatnot, that we are 99% is your environment and 1% your genes. I mean, that just shifts completely your paradigm to know that if 99% is our environment and, you know, the people that we are with, what shifts our consciousness, what gets us ill, how we develop stress, and only 1% genes. This really shook us to the core to know and understand that we really have the capability of actually healing ourselves. So it's all about mindset and what you put into your brain. I mean, I'm not saying to, you know, disregard your medical field and go to your doctor and do what you have to do. But it is mind-blowing that, of course, he speaks all about epigenetics, you know, that is, you know, what is above your gene, what is above your skin, which is the environment and the people that you are with, and how much that determines a role in your day-to-day life. I mean, it is mind-blowing. And I can testify for that because I can just give a quick example. I've had double back surgery, and the first surgery I went into very low vibrational, depressed, victimhood kind of thing, and it took me 3 months to recover from that. And then my second exact same surgery, when I went into it, I, you know, said to myself all these positive thoughts. I had faith in the doctors. I knew that I was going to be feeling really good and up and moving within just a couple of days, and so it was. So it is really important that we actually understand this. I'm going to state it and repeat it, and as I go along in different coffees, and of course actually in my conferences and any interviews or the work that you see online, I will reinforce this work over and over and over again, because also Dr. Bruce Lipton talked about, like, 50% of the people that have the cancer gene, 50% that have the cancer gene, they do not develop the cancer. Why? Because when you get the diagnosis, you're like, it's just an awakening moment to feel better, to take care of my nutrition, to act positively, to do some mind shifts in my life so that I can live better. And they just, like we say, they take the bull by the horns and they never develop the cancer gene because of this mindset and how you talk to yourselves and how you show up for yourself. And then the other 50% actually do develop the cancer gene. So you see, it's a lot of that environment and the people that you are with and the mindset that you have, that you even have the possibility to not activate that cancer gene. So just letting you have a little bit of a teaser of, not even a teaser, like an insight moment, an aha moment to get you inspired to look into this, because whether you had a diagnosis, you have a diagnosis, or you're feeling like, you're waiting for a diagnosis, if you are already thinking, doubting of the outcome of the illness, it will manifest, okay? So please, Vera, thank you so much for your lovely messages. I hope to read them all afterwards, because today I am back to back. So I'm going to stay focused on continuing. So please definitely look into, they both have incredible Instagram accounts and YouTube videos that are very informative, but I cannot tell you what it was for us in the audience of this conference to feel in how passionate these two spiritual teachers and scientists deliver this truth, science-based, right? So it's not like, oh, I'm just feeling it. Like, there's a science behind it, right? So, Bruce Lipton is also talking, we are our own computer, and we have the receptors, like, it's like your own antenna. And how, for example, if you have an internet connection, depending on how your frequency is and the voltage of your energy is what you're gonna be able to be the receptor, the receiver of those frequencies to be able to broadcast. So for us, what kind of energy are you putting out there in your own daily antenna? Because we ultimately know that what you put out there is what you will receive. So if your antenna, your receptor, your receiver is in low vibrational, is in depression, is in victimhood, that, or you're always complaining, that is the environment that you're going to be calling upon. So be sure that you tap into your own spirit every morning and align all that. In fact, I'll make a little commercial. If you go to my website, valalino.com, I gift you a beautiful less than 10-minute practice, morning practice, to activate your energy field, to center all your senses in 3 small videos that together they add more less than 10 minutes. So be sure you go to that website, because whether it's that ritual or practice, or you want to create your own, whatever works for you. At this point, I want us to activate the spirit within, to be able to activate that antenna and bring those positive thoughts and vibrations up high. So we are the attractors of our own reality and destiny. Okay, so that's just said in a different words, but definitely I want to encourage you to do that. Now, let's talk so you can at least go home today, or stay home, or be wherever you are, and activate some of these truths to yourself, and stop illnesses, stop victimhood, stop living in low vibration, because we have the power. Now understanding that 99% is all environments and the people that we're with and our mindset, and the 1% is only genetics, okay? So let's talk about Reverend Michael Beckwith, that is actually talking about the stages of spiritual growth, the spiritual development that you can have, and the growth that you can have. And he just really pointed out 4 different stages that were so brilliant. And that's, I really want to focus on these 2 aspects on this Coffee with Val, and then we'll alternate with different guests and continue to bring these teachings in, because they are really the base of our happiness, of a different way of living, of bringing your truth, of being able to be not only receiving the most beautiful frequencies, but also radiating and sending out into the world what we want to receive. You know, it's an ecosystem. It's an ecosystem. So we want to talk about the first stage, which Reverend Michael Beckwith talks about, and it's actually being the victim. And we spoke a little bit about it. So what kind of questions are you asking yourself every day? You know, what am I going to do with this illness? Or are you asking empowering questions? How are you phrasing your questions day to day as you go along in life? You know, what is it about the situation that I'm not seeing that is for my highest good, is one that I always share. So reframe and reset in a way that you can be contributing to your own well-being by the way you are phrasing the language within your life on a daily basis, right? We want to work under this stage, that the victim, we want to work on forgiving. And we're not forgiving only because the other person is saying, I'm sorry, but we are actually forgiving for our own well-being. And in fact, he mentions Reverend Beckwith says that it's also like self-harming that you wouldn't forgive, because that the energy that you are stuck with when you're with so much anger or greed is a disservice to you, and it will put you into this victimhood. Like you're not connecting from your own co-creation of whatever is going on. So the other thing that he mentioned among this is giving up shame and blame. You know, I'm going to be honest, and I was in that boat. Like, I became a victim of my own reality with all my story of when I was a little girl. And I just wore the label, and I wore my story, and it's time to retell your story in a different way. In my case, how could I be such a powerful speaker and shake consciousness and get on stages and through my private practice of coaching, in one session we activate every cell and really go deep down in the core of the soul of every human being that decides to show up. Why? Because I changed my story, and I understood that everything that happened to me was for a divine reason, and that was giving me the strength to now have so much data, knowledge, and empathy to understand what my clients or my audience is going through. If I had not gone through, I would maybe or not be the person who I am today as a speaker, as a coach, but it definitely gives me a validation to understand the psychology part of it, of all the situations that I talk about in conferences, and I am actually appreciative. Was it hard to go through everything that I went through? Yes. Is it hard what you're going through? Yes. However, how can you rephrase even that word hard? It's just an opportunity for growth. The more you say it was hard, it's going to be harder and harder until that vibration and the energy and the frequency that we receive is actually really dawning upon our spirit, and it doesn't allow us to really move with grace. Okay, so always just remember that something bigger outside of yourself is trying to emerge. So really look at that victim stage to pass on, so that you can move on in the stages of spiritual growth and development, right? Definitely we want to look at that for the most part. One of the other aspects is to actually recognize and own that every stage that you go through actually is gonna have a different role, okay? So let me look here. I wanna make sure I don't miss out this part. Give me a second. Right, the second aspect that he talks about in this stage, we talked about victim, now we talk about being a manifester. How do you attract into your life all that you want? And we definitely spoke about that as we moved along at the beginning of this Coffee with Val. So I don't want to stay too much on this, but it's you bring about what you think about, how the energy that you're putting it out there, and basically for example, how I manifested this place where I come to write is you want to hold on to an idea, okay? So you have, for me, I wanted a beach house. You want to hold on that idea. You want to feel it in every cell, in every part of your body, right? And then see it and hold it and see it, visualize it so that it comes true, okay? Now, does it mean you just pray and be in a state of meditation and not take action items to make that happen? No. So you know that there's a little bit more commitment behind that. But it is possible. We have seen thousands, millions of stories by now of all these people that go from a their deathbed to, incredible stories of evolution, people that have, been raised without parents or without limbs or in poverty and have completely shifted their consciousness. It does not happen randomly. Like, you're not just chosen to be, in this new environment. It must take determination, activation, and lots of passion and love to be able to bring about everything into your life. Yeah. So the other aspect is you want to remember in this manifesting stage that, they're all stages, just like the caterpillar does this transformation into a butterfly. I mean, that's pretty much how it goes in terms of ourselves. Okay. So we want to understand that in order to go to the next stage, something needs to be given up. Okay. So in this case, the victimhood, and now knowing how to be a manifester. Okay, so this is definitely something that I want to bring up. Then third stage is channeling. Can you imagine that? I love that word anyway. So that totally means that you are in the flow, that you are in motion all the time, that you surrender to the moment and you bring about what you want by just being just like a river. We don't stifle and just stay. We're not statics. We are energetic beings. So remember that you have a spiritual contract every day to fulfill, and that this channeling where you basically are so in tune with the universe that you're able to feel, hear, perceive your next step, your next encounter, or tap into a conversation or go talk to somebody. Now, the only way, well, not the only way, but one of the things I want to talk to you about channeling is like do not ever self-doubt when that instinct comes to go speak to that person. In fact, it just happened to me with my new friend Lisa, who's an amazing, I've written about her in my social media that I met in Florida. You know, it was pure energy that got me to come to her. And I said, look, I have no idea, but I just needed to come and say hi. She said, I wanted to come and say hi too. And then the rest is history. We've become so great friends. So I literally felt in what I call channeling, like literally go speak to this lady. No expectations of the outcome, is just honoring our initial intuition to go in pursuit of something that is greater than us, for the benefit of us and the world. Always expand your knowledge by not just showing up for you. That everything that comes through you and for you is in automatic, recycled. At least for one more person. Why not so many more? Like open that extension of gratitude and receiving and giving. That is for sure. And the last point that we're talking about for the 4 stages of spiritual growth and development, we're going to be talking about being. So we've talked about, you know, being a victim, manifester, channel, and now being. What does that mean, being? Being, there's no separation of you and life. I'm gonna say that again. No separation of you and life. So it's being in a place of service. And that when you are in a place of service, it is, I love how Reverend Beckwith said, it's that you eliminate your suffering by being of service. Okay, you're going to eliminate suffering by being of service. How amazing is that? I've always said, I think all of you are that you know my work, I've always attribute all my success and my life lessons to service. So yeah, show up, and service doesn't have to, you know, be that you belong to a nonprofit. If you can, hey, amazing, or start your own. But it's as simple as, you know, saying good morning to somebody, opening the door to somebody, gifting a sandwich to a homeless, whatever it is. But understand that each of these stages will allow you to live your most uplifting truth and will help you to develop the most awakened spiritual growth that you can think of. So I can't believe how time goes by. I actually thought I would go a little bit shorter today, but we went on for the whole 30 minutes. And how could I not, knowing that there is so much wisdom to share from these incredible spiritual teachers and scientists, Dr. Bruce Lipton and Reverend Michael Beckwith. And so for now, I just want to hold a space of gratitude and love for everyone that came in today or will hear this recording later. And remember that is such an easy way to pass on the light by just perhaps sharing this information if it was of service to you. Now, one click can make a difference in someone's life. You know, before you had to get out of your way, call somebody, make sure they call you back. It's the right time. You feel like you're going to be an intrusive because you might be interrupting. Today, it's one click, what makes a difference. So if this is of contribution to you, I am happy, even if you take 1% of what is said here. And we will continue to share these teachings, as you know, every Monday with Coffee with Val. So it's every Monday morning at 9:30 Eastern time. I only cancel if I am in the air traveling, and I will let you know if that happens. So for now, I let you go in peace, whether you're in the morning or evening time. I pray to have the grace to meet you in person at some point, sometime, some space. For now, I bless you. I love you all. Namaste, everyone. Have a beautiful day.